lies to India's highest court. We speak to someone who represented them, one of the country's top lawyers, Mr. Harish Salve, and now he says he would not be. Mr. Salve, what really leads to the decision that you will no longer be representing Italy?
Well, we are officers of the court, and this is a matter of utmost seriousness. We acted on instructions from the highest quarters, as I have said in my press note. And we went on the faith that this would be honored, and I had no reason to believe then that there would be any change in thinking. And it is very obvious that after the undertaking was given, as recently as a few days back, they wanted me to move an application saying since the appointment of the court was being delayed, some more time should be given. And I made it clear that unless the government of India agrees, the court will not extend the time, and therefore it is better to bring the Marines back. So it came as a complete shock to me when I saw a news headline saying that the Italian government had directly informed the government of India. And as senior counsel, I feel that first of all, we are officers of the court. Secondly, in a matter like this, the client has to take you into confidence. And if the client doesn't have confidence in you, I think we owe it to the system not to continue.
Mr. Salve, also, who do you think the instructions came from? Because there's a clear breach of that undertaking in the Supreme Court.
Well, the instructions came in the exchange of emails, and I have gone public on this considering the national importance of the matter. I have an email which suggests that even the Prime Minister, the then Prime Minister of Italy's office, had to look at the undertaking. So they obviously came from the highest quarters.
Also, how do you think India should proceed in the matter? What are the next steps that we can take to ensure that some justice is done, especially for the fishermen there?
Well, I think it's far more important now. It's a question of Indian prestige. It's a prestige of the Supreme Court of India, prestige of all of us is at stake. And I think the government of India will be justified in the toughest steps which it may take.
The Solicitor General yesterday, speaking to Times Now, sir, had stated that whoever high and mighty you are, you have to comply with the court's orders. How does Italy go ahead with this? Any communication was made, anything that suggested that they would even imply to do this earlier?
Never. On the contrary. On the contrary. The assurance was given. It was honored the first time. And that is why the court said, and that is why the government of India, in an act of nobility, agreed that very well, we are two friendly nations. If you are assuring us, we have faith in your word, you have faith in our word. And that's how a civilized system exists. That's how civilized nations behave with each other. And I'm sorry to say, they acceded to the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. The international option was always open to Italy. They could always have said, sorry, we don't engage with India. We will go to the International Court of Justice, or we would raise this matter before the UNICLOS. That was open. Once they have come to our court, and this is where I'm personally very disheartened, that once we as senior counsel take instructions, we are told, yes, we accede to jurisdiction. The Supreme Court heard their case out of turn. A very busy Supreme Court heard their case out of turn, gave substantial relief, quashed proceedings in Kerala, brought it here, let them live in Delhi, and was trying to get the government, they said, set up a court, all these questions of UNICLOS, etc., everything will be gone into. And then this happens, so it's very disappointing, because as an Indian, I'm an Indian first and a senior counsel first, and then comes my duty to my client. I feel insulted.
Mr. Salve, who do you think can be held responsible in the Italian government? Who will take the buck?
I have no idea.
Is it the Italian ambassador who definitely should be held responsible here?
It's his undertaking, but beyond that, I have no idea. As I told you, I found out about it when I saw a news release. So I immediately called the ambassador. I said, is this true? He said, unfortunately, yes. I said, but ambassador, you've given an undertaking? And he said, well, I'm sure it's the powers above him that have given him the instructions. So I don't know who in their system, because they are now directly interacting with the government of India.
Have you spoken with him, sir, after the incident? What is he saying?
No, I don't think he has anything to say. He's just the messenger. So the decision is obviously not his. The decision is above him. And I think it will now have to be resolved at the level of the two governments. But
all right, very clearly.
Very unfortunate.
Very clearly, Mr. Salve, who did appear for Italy, making it extremely clear that even though Italy lies to India's highest court, one really needs to see where the instructions came from. With Raj Kishore, I'm Ridhumanan Bhardwaj in Delhi for Times Now.